On the front lines of modern warfare, the thunder of artillery and the roar of tanks have long symbolized military might. For centuries, wars were decided by massed formations, heavy guns, and the rumble of armored divisions. Yet in the battlefields of Ukraine, it is a much smaller, sharper sound that has captured the world's attention: the high-pitched whir of an FPV drone. Small, light, and inexpensive, these drones have become a nightmare for every Russian soldier moving along the front lines. They are not simply machines in the sky, they are predators, patient and relentless, watching from above. Soldiers know the sound well, the faint electric hum that often signals doom. The silent hunters. Unlike traditional reconnaissance drones, FPVs are not just eyes in the sky. They are daggers, armed with explosives, guided by skilled operators, and capable of diving with pinpoint precision. FPV drones have changed the rules of the battlefield. In a war where billion-dollar technology collides with improvised tactics, Ukraine has turned the tables. With only a few $100s, they can eliminate Russian armored vehicles worth millions. This is the paradox of modern warfare: the might of tanks and missiles undone by devices smaller than a backpack. The battlefield is no longer ruled by mass but by imagination, where the cheapest tool can become the most decisive weapon. The Convoy ambush. On a narrow rural road, a Russian convoy moved forward with confidence. The column included supply trucks, ammunition carriers, and armored escorts. Dust rose behind them as they advanced, believing the route had already been secured. Commanders were confident, their soldiers relaxed. After all, the front lines seemed quiet. But miles away, hidden inside a camouflaged shelter, Ukrainian drone operators sat hunched over their FPV screens. Through their headsets, they could hear nothing but the steady hum of rotors. On their monitors, the Russian convoy appeared in sharp detail. Every truck, every soldier, every weapon was visible. The target was locked. The operators exchanged glances. They knew what was about to happen would change the battlefield in minutes. The first drone launched, its electric motor buzzing faintly as it skimmed low over the terrain, camera fixed on the lead vehicle. The silence of the Ukrainian control room was broken only by the rapid breathing of the men controlling the drone. Then came the moment. The drone dove. A deafening explosion tore through the front of the convoy. Flames engulfed the lead vehicle, black smoke rising into the sky. The entire column halted in shock. In an instant, their sense of security vanished. Chaos erupted. Russian troops scrambled from their vehicles, some firing wildly into the air, others ducking for cover. But their enemy was not infantry or artillery. It was a tiny machine, invisible until it was too late. And the assault had only just begun. Waves of fire. The second drone streaked toward a logistics truck in the middle of the column. If destroyed, the convoy would be split in two, cutting communications and isolating soldiers. Moments later, a massive blast consumed the truck, igniting fuel and ammunition. Secondary explosions rippled through the convoy, shaking the earth and throwing debris across the road. The third drone zeroed in on an armored vehicle that attempted to retreat. Precision guided by its operator, the drone smashed into its target, flipping twisted metal and scattering soldiers who had taken cover nearby. Then came the fourth, aimed directly at an ammunition truck. The resulting detonation was catastrophic, sending a fireball into the sky and rattling windows in distant villages. Within minutes, a proud Russian convoy had been reduced to burning wreckage. The rural road, once quiet, now resembled a scene of utter devastation, littered with debris, vehicles torn apart, soldiers fleeing in panic. The FPV cameras recorded everything: the explosions, the terror, and the collapse of morale. To the Ukrainian operators, this was more than a tactical success. It was proof of a new reality. Wars are no longer dominated by steel, but by speed, precision, and creativity. The human side of the strike. Inside the Russian convoy, the human cost was unbearable. Soldiers who just hours earlier had shared cigarettes and jokes now found themselves crawling through dirt and smoke, searching for cover. Panic spread faster than fire. Some froze, staring at the sky, terrified to hear the faint buzz of another incoming drone. For Ukrainian operators, the emotions were equally intense. On one hand, this was their duty, their mission to defend their homeland. On the other hand, they knew that every strike meant another group of human lives ended. Victory in modern war often carries with it a silent burden, yet their resolve remained firm. Without these drones, without this strategy, Ukraine would be left defenseless against the weight of Russian numbers. The symbol of modern asymmetry. For Ukraine, this ambush was not just another battlefield victory. It was proof that cheap, ingenious technology could cripple one of the world's largest militaries. With the cost of a weekend in a city, Ukraine could destroy machines worth millions. This imbalance in cost and effectiveness has become Russia's nightmare and Ukraine's symbol of hope. In the command center, operators exchanged high fives. Their screens replayed the strikes, showing Russian vehicles exploding in fireballs. They knew this success was more than the destruction of enemy machines. It was a message to the world. Creativity, precision, and determination could overcome overwhelming numbers and heavy machinery. As the smoke cleared, the remains of the Russian convoy stood as a silent monument. Charred wrecks lining the road testified to the shifting nature of warfare. No longer is the battlefield dominated only by tanks and jets. Now, wars are won by those who can wield simple technology in intelligent ways. Strategic analysis of FPV strikes. The use of FPV drones against Russian convoys is not merely a tactical episode, but a reflection of the broader transformation in modern warfare. 1. Cost efficiency. An FPV drone costing under $1,000 can destroy armored vehicles worth millions. This economic imbalance places Russia at a severe disadvantage, making replacement of losses increasingly unsustainable. 2. Psychological impact. For Russian troops, the near-invisible threat of drones instills constant fear and anxiety. Morale drops when death can descend silently from above at any moment. 3. Tactical flexibility. FPV drones require no runways, no heavy infrastructure. With only a headset and a controller, operators can strike anywhere, evading radar and traditional air defenses. 4. Political and propaganda value. Footage of successful strikes floods social media, boosting Ukrainian morale, reinforcing Western support, and humiliating Russia before global audiences. 5. Future of warfare. These drones are not a passing trend. They are a glimpse into the future of combat. Nations worldwide are watching closely, preparing to adapt. The lessons of Ukraine will shape conflicts for decades. The turning point. This event demonstrates that adaptability to new technologies now outweighs sheer numbers of tanks or artillery. Ukraine's soldiers, armed with creativity and courage, have reshaped the nature of 21st century warfare. When history records this war, it may not be the tanks, jets, or missiles that stand as its icons. Instead, it may be the small, buzzing drones, silent until their final explosive dive, that are remembered as the true game changers. Delta history, documenting the turning points of war. In every battle, there are moments that change history. We tell the stories that must not be forgotten.